y'all. So coming to you live from my son's hoopty again. Check it out. He's got his little boxing gloves reminding him he's got to be a champion someday. He's got a little mental reminder right there, swinging on the mirrors. So let's talk about your go muscle. Your go muscle, the ability, like whenever you have a revelation, like discernment, like, man, I need to do this. You got to learn to go. You got to learn to go right then and right there. The story I want to share with you about this is I was going doing my reading, my journaling this morning, and talking about the importance of just having the ability to go. Like, you do not need a detailed, in-depth plan and blueprint of whatever it is that you're going to do. Patton said something, I'll butcher this, something to the extent of a good plan violently executed is better than a perfect plan executed at some indefinite time in the future. Said some quote like that. So let's talk about that. So before I ever got into real estate, sorry, I'm a little under the weather here. Before I got into real estate, I had no experience, I had no business background, no acumen, it was nothing, no knowledge, nothing. And I was talking about doing some real estate with this guy at my work. I don't call him a friend, I just call him like a associate, a guy at work, and we talked about it. And I was like, man, dude, I think I'm gonna get into this. So I went to a real estate boot camp, a 2-day thing in January 2007. By the end of that month, I had already bought a property. 4 or 5 months later, I had 4 or 5 properties, probably 4 at that time. And I told him, dude, I got 4 properties. I've been doing this thing. He's like, holy crap, we were just talking about that like 6 months ago. And I was like, yeah, I'm like going after it. And I had a basic plan. I just violently executed it. And I kind of stopped talking about my investing pursuits at work because I didn't want it to be a conflict. Like, people think like I wasn't gonna, pay full attention to my job, which it didn't matter because I was sales based and I always hit my numbers and I was like top 1 or 2 usually. But here's the deal: less than 2 years later, I was quitting my job, and I had stopped telling people I was doing on real estate. And at that point in time, about 2 years later, I had 25 rentals, or close to 25 rentals. And I had that conversation with that friend, that work friend. And he's like, dude, I heard you're quitting. Like, what are you going to do? And I was like, well, I'm going to do real estate. He's like, what are you going to do in real estate? And I'm like, well, I got these rentals. I'm going to keep buying more. And I'm going to do some other stuff too. But he's like, how many rentals do you have? I was like 24, 25, something like that. And he was like, holy bleep. How did you do that? And of course, he had none. He didn't take action. He was like, man, I always wanted to do that. And I was like, dude, I got some information. I just took after it. And that's like I learned along the way, and I just violently executed. And he did nothing. Like, absolutely nothing. So the thing is this, guys, like, you've got to condition your mind that when you decide on something, just to freaking go. Just take some action. You're gonna screw some things up. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna have some bumps. You're gonna get some bruises. But that's how you learn, by getting into the ring, the arena, fighting. Like, that's how my son's getting so darn good, because he like works his butt off, and then he gets into a ring multiple days a week and sparring, and he fights. Like, he fights. He's getting really, really good. He's getting really good. It's because he gets in the ring and he just goes. His coach says, you got to learn this, you got to do this, he goes. You got to work on these line drills, you got to work on this foot speed, you got to work on this explosiveness, whatever it is. And like, whatever he's told to do, he just goes. And you've got to condition that part of your brain, because your mind is a muscle, and you have to exercise it. Because if you get into like this over planning, procrastination, waiting for everything to be perfect, you're gonna get nowhere in life. You just have to learn how to go when it's time to go. I heard Tony Robbins say something I'll butcher this too, but he's like, never leave Never leave the sight of a great idea without taking action. You just have to learn to take action whenever it's something, when it's something that is worthwhile, something you're committed to, something that's going to get you where you want to go, that's a part of your goals, whether it be your faith or your family or your fitness or your finances, and is something you deem worthy and necessary to do, just go. Either go right then and there, or you need to schedule it, or you make a plan, or you go read a book, or you watch a video. Like, you just got to go. And when you do that, you start closing the gap. Because there's a gap where you are today from where you want to be tomorrow. But if you don't take action, you won't close the gap. I get it. Reading and researching, that's part of it. But it's not as important as taking action. So take action and just go. Work out your go muscle. Learn along the way, my friends. A basic, decent plan, violently executed, is going to be 1,000,000 times better than a perfect plan that is pushed off into some unknown time in the future. Just go today. Take action.